Hello everyone. So today we'll be discussing the nature and components of attitudes. Let us firstly understand what is an attitude. So an attitude is a state of mind, my thoughts, my ideas pertaining to any topic for that matter. And it does have three very important components. So it does have the A, B, C components. So A stands for the affective component, B stands for the behavioral component, and C stands for the cognitive component. Each of these components, they denote something very, very crucial. Now coming to the affective component. So affective component is actually my emotional component. You know, all the feelings, all the emotions that are being evoked by something. So that comes under the affective component. And when we talk about the behavioral component, it is nothing but my actions, my behaviors. So the action component, or the behavioral component, so to say, that is what its formal name is. So, basically these are the tendencies, to act in a certain way towards something. So, the tendency to act basically is the behavioral aspect or the behavioral component. Coming to the cognitive component, so the thought component is referred to as my cognitive component. My thoughts, my beliefs, my ideas pertaining to something, all of that comes under the cognitive component. Together, all these are being contained in my attitudes. All these components are contained within an attitude. So, yes, the attitude does have all these three components, which is the affective component, the behavioral component, and the cognitive component. Now, of course, we'll move to the next slide, which is actually talking about very, very important. It's talking about, the beliefs and the values. So we need to understand that the attitudes, though of course very, very closely related to beliefs and values, but there is a difference. It is actually distinguished. Attitude is a much broader term, and we do have beliefs and values as well, but definitely they all mean different. So when we talk about the you know, beliefs are actually my very own cognitive components of attitudes. So the cognitive components of the thoughts or the ideas pertaining to a topic. So all my thoughts, all my so to say my ideas that are pertaining to any topic, they are actually my beliefs, and they are forming the very basis, the ground, on which the attitude stands. So they are doing all the groundwork. They are forming the very basis. So they are actually the thoughts and the ideas. So the thoughts and ideas together are forming the beliefs. When we talk about the values are basically the attitudes or those beliefs that have all the shoulds or all the oughts basically, or you can say the moral values, or they have the ethics contained within them. So they are actually comprising of all the values. So of course, so together we have our beliefs, we do have our values, we do have our attitudes. But yes, they need to actually be distinguished, because these are three different terms. And this is how we can understand what our beliefs, what our values, and what our attitudes. Like how you do have a belief in the democracy. You have your belief in God. It's your own idea, it's your own thought process. And because of those ideas and thought process, a attitude of a person is formed you know or so to say, the way the person is going to behave, the way the person is going to think, the way the person is going to express himself in terms of his emotions, feelings, all of that is my attitude. and all of that is coming through my own thoughts, my own ideas, which are my beliefs. They are forming the very basis, they are doing the groundwork for that. And of course values can be, of course, like how people say that, one should work hard or one should be honest. So these are some of the values which we've been growing up with, of course. And it's very important to understand that when we talk about attitudes, attitudes, if you see, in that we are talking about the behavior of a person, but attitude is not behavior. So attitude does not uh, equal to behavior. It's This is not how we define attitudes, but rather, attitudes, they do represent a tendency, for a person to behave in a certain way, you know and that is what attitude does. It does have those tendencies, and because of those tendencies we tend to behave in a particular manner, but we cannot say that attitude is a behavior. It does contain all these things. It does have the behavioral component. It does have the emotional component. It does have the thought component as well. So this is what we had to discuss about the nature and components of attitudes. Thank you so much.